Writers often tell the players to let go of the past, which is their way of saying stop criticising us for retconning everything from the earlier games. Which is always hypocritical as they keep bringing back things from these games to convince people to buy the sequels. But if Starcraft 1 and all the problems caused by retconning Starcraft 1 didn't exist, would the plot of Starcraft 2 be free of its major problems? The simple answer is no for the following reasons. Firstly, many of the problems with Starcraft 2 aren't related to the retconning of Starcraft 1. These are mainly characters changing their objectives for no reason, and plot contrivances. In Wings of Liberty, Mengsk has Tychus infiltrate Rayna's crew to assassinate Kerrigan, even though he was completely unaware that Valerian was going to Char, or that he would be bringing Rayna with him. How is Mengsk expecting Tychus to assassinate Kerrigan if he wasn't expecting Rayna to even fight her? Between Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, Valerian went from wanting to prove he was a worthy successor to his father, to working with his father's enemies to overthrow him, despite there being no reason for him to do this. Also, Selendis seems to have given up exterminating infested worlds, as she doesn't show up during Heart of the Swarm despite the Zerg being fractured after the Terran invasion of Char, and all the infested Terrans that will be produced by Kerrigan attacking Dominion planets. In Heart of the Swarm, Rayna no longer seems to care about all the death and destruction Kerrigan is causing, despite showing regret about this in Wings of Liberty and having multiple missions dedicated to saving people from the Zerg. He also doesn't seem upset that Kerrigan killed General Warfield, despite befriending him in Wings of Liberty. Also, in Heart of the Swarm, the Protoss send colonists outside of the range of their communications and failed to detect the huge Zerg army, slaughtering them because the writers didn't want the Protoss to get in the way of Kerrigan's anti-Mengsk rampage, even though this could have been used to set up the plot of Legacy of the Void. In Legacy of the Void, Amon has his Zerg brood sit on Endian, doing nothing because he had all the Protoss he mind-controlled massacred for no reason. Also in Legacy of the Void, Rayna is upset about the Dominion deaths, despite he and Kerrigan causing so many in the previous games. While Artanis is upset about the fate of his people, he willingly fights them to the death on Aya, even though the artifact can charge anywhere. Secondly, there are numerous retcons within Starcraft 2. In Wings of Liberty, the Tal'Darim are protectors of the Xel'naga artifacts, led by a nameless executor who would rather see these artifacts destroyed by a sun-going supernova than be moved somewhere else. The Mobius Corps leader, Narud, pays you to attack the Tal'Darim and take their artifacts. The artifact is an anti-Zerg weapon that can destroy whole Zerg armies, and the Overmind warns Zeratul that Amon is planning to possess the Zerg and that only Kerrigan is able to stop him. In Heart of the Swarm, this was retconned, so the Tal'Darim are worshippers of Amon, led by Narud, and Narud is a Xel'naga who needs the artifact to remove Kerrigan's psychic energy, so the hybrids can collect it to resurrect Amon. This makes no sense, as Narud should have used his position as leader of the Tal'Darim to force them to give him these artifacts, especially when they were about to be destroyed by an exploding sun. Also, the artifact is now only able to shock Kerrigan and can't destroy Zerg armies for no reason, while the Xel'naga need Kerrigan to become a primal Zerg to stop Amon. In Legacy of the Void, the plot was retconned again, so Milash is now High Lord of the Tal'Darim, and the Tal'Darim serve Amon because he's going to make them into hybrids. The artifact removed Kerrigan's void energy and stored it to resurrect Amon. The artifact still functions as a map to the Xel'naga, despite Narud having the opportunity to destroy it. Amon is able to possess Zerg and Protoss, despite the latter ability never being mentioned in the previous games. The artifact is now key to defeating Amon, and until the Void missions it's unclear why Kerrigan was required to stop Amon. Starcraft 2 Conclusion. In a well-written trilogy, each part should improve the other parts, making them greater than the sum of their parts. However, in Starcraft 2, the characters constantly change motivation to suit the plot. Events that occur through plot contrivances to force a scenario the writers wanted. And the use of retcons, because the writers made each game without an overall plot, meant that these three games could not tell a coherent story. All Starcraft 2 will do is remind writers why they need to plan their entire trilogy before starting the first part to ensure that they don't need to keep retconning things so the next part has a plot. And with this analysis, I'm finally done with Starcraft 2.
Nova here. I'm on an encrypted connection and I need retrieval now.
It never ends.